Hey everyone, Tiffany here with Haute Moms Dinner Club. I certainly hope my budget meal plans are working out well for you. If they are, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also check out the website, hautemomsdinnerclub.com, to get full recipes, a grocery list, and so much more. So today we're making 4 more meals. We're going to start them off with a Deli Hoagie. So we're going to make one of these giant hoagies with different deli meats and cheeses. We're going to serve that with an Italian pasta salad. We had the rotini pasta left over from bin 12. We've got the other half of that box. I've already got it cooked up. I'm going to turn that into an Italian pasta salad. Meal 2 is going to be a roasted chicken. I'm going to do a whole roasted chicken with your country, basic vegetables, carrots, celery, onions. I've got some baby potatoes. I found a great deal on those at the store. That whole roasted chicken is basically going to be a 1-dish sheet pan meal. Everything's going to be cooked together. And then I'm just going to serve some bread on the side. I got 2 of these, so I'm going to have some of this bread as well. Meal 3 is going to be super quick, great for the summer, chef salads. I've got a mix of romaine and spinach lettuce here. I'm going to use some of this in meal 1's sandwich, and then the remainder of it is for meal 3, chef salads. Same thing, some of the same deli meats and cheeses that we used in the sandwich in meal 1. We're going to use that to make a roll up to top on our chef salad with hard-boiled eggs, tomatoes, and whatever dressing that you would like. Meal 4, we're going to do baked pork chops. I remember these growing up. My mother made some delicious baked pork chops. It's just your basic Campbell's cream of celery soup recipe. We're going to sear the pork chops off and then bake them with the cream of celery soup. We're going to serve those on rice with green beans as well. So I'm going to get started on meal 1. The first thing you want to do for meal 1 is, of course, get the rotini pasta cooking. While that's cooking, you can start prepping all your vegetables for the pasta salad and for the deli hoagie. The cherry tomatoes, I went ahead and sliced those in half. I've got some of the pepperoni. I've got a thicker cut pepperoni for the pasta salad, and some of the deli sliced salami. Here I'm going to julienne and put that in as well. Then I'm going to do some red onion, some pepper and cheese, and then these are just regular large black olives. Some of the same things that are going into the pasta salad, I'm also going to put in this dish, and that's going to be that little bit of a salad that we're going to actually put on the hoagie. Julienne there on the pepperoni. I had the lady at the deli do some thick cut slices and then some thinner cut slices. You can do all this meat out of the deli. You could buy some of it pre-sliced. This one actually has a big deli list on this. So, you might want to write everything down for the deli separate, or actually just give them the list. You can have the deli person slicing everything for you while you're doing some of your other shopping as well. But sometimes even the deli workers like to get a list. I worked in the deli for a while, and I actually liked it when people brought in a list, and that way you could just kind of do everything all at once, and they could go and do their other shopping. These pepper and cheese, I just take them right down to the stem. You just kind of go like that. It's okay to get some of the seeds on these. These aren't really too terribly spicy. They definitely do have a little bit of a bite to them, but they're not super spicy. I'm also going to do julienne the onion. I'm going to do the julienne of the onion, and then I'm going to cut the julienne in half, all right? That way we don't have such big bites of the onion in the salad. So just a nice, really nice thin cut on that, and I'm just going to cut it in half. And then a little bit of that will go on the hoagie. And the black olives, I'm just going to cut in half. So I've got most of the veggies cut for meal 1. I'm going to go ahead and get the bread. I'm going to get it in the oven, toasting. Just going to open it up here. And I'm going to brush it with the garlic butter that I have here. I'm going to toast that in the oven just for probably about 5 minutes, just to kind of get that garlic working so it doesn't taste too raw. And I'm going to bring it back out, and I'm going to start loading up the meats and cheeses on it. While our bread's toasting, I'm going to finish up the pasta salad. If you've seen me do this before, I'm going to make a quick balsamic vinaigrette. I got our Dijon. I'm going to add the balsamic vinegar in and the olive oil. And I'm going to dress the salad with all that. I didn't put cheese in it. We have lots of cheese going on in the sandwich. You could add cheese to this if you like, fresh mozzarella. You could even put the same cheese in to the little salad that we're going to put on the sandwich as well. But, you know, a fresh mozzarella or a feta cheese would both go very nicely in this. I'm just going to add the balsamic vinaigrette into here, and I'm going to add just a touch of mayonnaise to it afterwards, just to make that balsamic vinaigrette seem a little bit of a creamy balsamic. It tends to make my family happier when there's a little bit of mayonnaise in there than when it's just straight balsamic. The straight balsamic vinegar is sometimes a little bit too tart for kids, but if you do cut it with just a touch of mayonnaise, it's usually a lot more palatable. So my bread just came out of the oven. I'm going to load my meats and cheeses up on it. You just kind of position places however you want on your sandwiches. I've got salami, ham, and pepperoni for the 3 meats. And then 2 different cheeses. I got cheddar and provolone. And you can kind of mix this up however you want to. You know, you don't have to do the same thing that I'm doing on these sandwiches. I thought about getting turkey or turkey pastrami, but then I decided to go with the salami and the pepperoni and keep it more Italian-y. Put that back in the oven just for about 5 more minutes, just to kind of melt everything together. While our sandwich is kind of melting together, I'm just going to get the salad ready to go for the top of it. Remember, most of this lettuce is actually for the chef's salad. This salad I'm making for the top of the sandwich, just kind of a little bit of an accent to it. It's not going to be a whole lot. Get some of these crunchier bits in there too, just so we got some bite to this salad as well. Get just a little bit of this fresh spinach on there too. And then we'll toss that with a little more balsamic vinegar and just a little bit of salt and pepper right before we serve it. So our hoagie is out of the oven. I'm going to load that up on the sandwich. So there's meal 1. This is our Italian deli hoagie with the balsamic and pepperoncini salad. Got some black olives, some cherry tomatoes, some red onions in there. For your family, what I would do, I would just take that hoagie, I would cut it in half, and then cut it in half again to make your 4 sections, and then top everybody's with the salad once it's on the plate. I just did it like that for presentation purposes. And there is our Italian pasta salad. So one thing to keep in mind on this bin, these meals can be done in any order. So this bin, the chef salad, that is your super quick meal. You can do this bin in any order that you prefer. Just make sure that you save the appropriate ingredients for the appropriate meals. All right, meal 1. Now I'm going to get started on meal 2. That's the roasting of the chicken. Okay, so I have the chicken sitting out here, and I got as much juice out of it as possible. I'm also kind of going to pat it dry. I'm going to get all of my vegetables cut while this is kind of just drying out, and then I'm going to marinate everything, the chicken and the vegetables, all in the same thing. I'm going to do garlic, oil, salt and pepper, and herb de Provence, which is just a mix of herbs. At the restaurant I just sold in Missouri, we actually just put a barbecue rub on the chickens there. But this one I kind of wanted to do the herb de Provence because we're doing the vegetables in there with it, and I've got the nice heirloom potatoes there. So I'm just going to kind of keep those kind of wintry spices, the rosemary, the thyme, the lavender kind of in this dish. These are the potatoes I got. I just got this blend of potatoes. It was $1.99 for the whole pack. I was out of russet potatoes, so I was going to have to buy those. I didn't need the russet potatoes for anything else besides this. So instead of buying the whole 5-pound bag of russet potatoes, I just bought these for $1.99, so it saved me about $1 there. So if you have russet potatoes, you know, you can just large dice those. You want them a chunky dice. I still had carrots. I still had celery. I actually even had a little bit of a white onion left over, so I'm just going to throw that in here as well as the red onion that I bought for this bin. Down to the nitty-gritty on my celery. So I did wipe that out here on this dish. Going to get all this prepping, I'm going to chop up my garlic, and then I'll be ready to start seasoning everything up, and we'll get this in the oven. The potatoes, I'm just going to put in there whole since they're, baby potatoes. And all of this is going to be large and chunky. I'm going to chop up the garlic real small, and I'm going to wait on the green beans, okay? All of this is going to get a head start. The chicken, I'm going to put all this together on the sheet pan. This is going to get a head start. I'm going to wait about 25 minutes, and then I'll get the green beans ready, and then I'll toss the green beans in for about the last 20 minutes of the cooking time on this chicken. Unfortunately, I somehow did not get it videoed me seasoning this chicken, but all I did was I put the garlic oil on it. I sprinkled it with salt and pepper. I sprinkled it with the herb de Provence. I also had some whole garlic cloves. I threw those in as well. If you are a roasted garlic lover, throw in some whole cloves of garlic in with your vegetable mix, and it's delicious. So I've got 3 or 4 of those in there as well. I marinated the vegetables all in with the same stuff, the salt, pepper, the herb de Provence, the garlic oil. I saved just enough of the garlic oil for the green beans. I got the bowl here ready to go still for the green beans. I'm going to get this in the oven to bake. It's probably going to take about 50 to 60 minutes, probably closer to 60. And by the time the chicken is 165, the vegetables should all be tender as well. So it's time to get the green beans ready to throw on top of the chicken. I'm going to use a portion of these green beans for tonight's meal, and then the remainder of them are going to be for meal 4, the smothered pork chops. Just going to line them all up here with the stem end out. I'm going to give them a cut. Make sure I didn't miss any. Those will go in the bowl. So that bird is looking mighty fine. So we're just going to dump the green beans on there, and we're going to let it go 20 more minutes, and it should be perfect. I'm going to get that back in the oven now. Meanwhile, I'll work on the bread. This is the remainder of the bread I have. I would like to have a little bit of bread for each of my meals, meal 2, 3, and 4. So I'm cutting this on a sharp bias and pretty thin so that I can make that happen. So basically, there's going to be like large crostinis, and I'm cutting it the whole shebang, okay? That way, I don't have to cut it again. I'm just going to put it in the Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, and each night pull out the slices for your dinner that evening. What? Completely perfect. 6, 6, and 6. Ugh, that's a bad sign. But anyway, I've got 6 pieces of bread for each meal. I'm a little ahead of schedule, so I'm just going to leave them sit here, and when the chicken's ready, I pull it out, I'm going to check the temp on it, 165 degrees. When the chicken's ready, I'll put this in, because they're not going to take but 5 minutes in the oven just to warm up, okay? So our chicken just came out of the oven. We're going to check the temperature on that guy. Like I said, has to be 165 degrees. You definitely want to check it in the inner thigh. This is going to be the part that's going to take the longest to cook. Your breast may get done before your dark meat does, so you just want to check it there. And we are at exactly 165. This actually cooked for 1 hour and 10 minutes total. Simple herb roasted chicken. And, the sheet pan dishes are all the rave now. So, a lot of people are just serving it on a sheet pan. So leave it right on here, put some of these on and take it to the table. I'm going to actually probably plate mine up a little bit different just to make it pretty. Now we're going to get going on meal 3. That is our chef's salads. Really the only complicated or time-consuming thing on this meal is to get our eggs hard boiling. We went over this once before in one of the earliest bins on how to boil the perfect hard-boiled eggs where they're perfectly cooked inside. There's no green sulfur ring around the yolk. They peel easily. So basically it's super easy. Eggs in the pan, fill it up with cold water, bring it up to a boil, let it boil for about 1 minute, put the lid on it, remove it from the heat. Let them sit for 10 minutes, then bring them over to the sink, dump out the hot water, and add in ice and cold water to completely submerge them in an ice water bath. That'll stop the cooking time then, and then it'll take about 10 minutes just to completely chill the egg. Then they're ready to peel and put on your salad. All right, so boiling for 1 minute. Then put the lid on them and remove them from heat. Now they sit for 10 minutes. So my eggs set for 10 minutes. I dumped out the hot water. I'm going to cover them up with ice cold water. And they'll be chill in about 10 minutes and they'll be ready to peel. Our chef salad is going to come with the lettuces. I've got the romaine lettuce and I've got the fresh spinach that we had earlier. I'll get that prepped. Also, I did a carrot. I grated a carrot. We also have the pint of cherry tomatoes. The remainder of that, I'm going to have those for garnish. I also picked up some radishes. Radishes are always cheap. Usually you can buy the fresh bunch of radishes for $1 or sometimes even less. And also cucumber. We always have a cucumber hanging around here. My daughter loves to snack on them, as do I. And those are also inexpensive, so they make a nice inexpensive crunchy treat. I'm going to get all the vegetables ready to go here, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that that roll up with the meat and cheese. Alright, so we have everything ready to go for our chef salads. We're just waiting on the eggs to chill. I'm going to go ahead and show you the roll up. So I put 2 pieces of ham. You want to put down your thickest cut of meat here. I shingled them down a little bit. I got one a little bit higher than the other one, like this. I'm going to put the next piece on a cheese. I'm going to go ahead and do the salami as well. I'm going to kind of shingle this down as well. Like I mentioned before, you can do any certain mix of meats and cheeses that you would like. Sometimes I just like to do ham, turkey, Swiss, and cheddar on the chef salad. But I was also trying to hit the Italian deli aspect for the hoagie. So I did a little bit different on that. But, you know, mix it up however you want. You could even buy different cuts. It's just I wanted to keep everything within a certain monetary budget. Okay, so now that I've got it all shingled down, I'm just going to kind of roll them up from the base as tight as possible. And you really don't want to, you know, bust anything. You want it to be a nice roll up there. And then once you get the nice roll up, then that's when you're going to make your slices. For 4 salads, you'll do 4 of these. I just did 2. Now we're going to plate up our chef salad. We got our lettuce there. You can personalize this, you know, whatever you think is best for you and your family. But we got a lettuce down there. I've got cucumber. I've got some radishes. I want to kind of shingle this roll up so it's nice and pretty. Sprinkle some carrot on. We've got the perfectly cooked hard-boiled eggs there. Just kind of put those right there. And then we're just going to sprinkle these little cherry tomatoes around. There is our chef salad. So we'll get some bread in the oven to toast, to serve on the side with this. And you can put whatever salad dressing you want on there, ranch, or even some of the balsamic vinegar that we have left over from meal 1. At last, we're going to work on meal 4. So this is our smothered pork chops. So I got a bone-in pork chop. I've got about, I don't know, 7 or 8 chops there. I'm only going to cook off 5 chops. That'll do it for my family. I'm going to save the remainder probably for like breakfast pork chop and eggs or another meal or something. So I'm not going to cook all of mine. I'm going to smother them in cream of celery soup. Going to start browning them off in a sage flour mix. And I'm going to season them up with salt and pepper. I'm going to pull the chops out and let them rest on a plate. Then I'm going to deglaze the pan with chicken bouillon. I got 2 cubes of chicken bouillon in here and a cup of water. I'm going to deglaze the pan with that. Add in my cream of celery soup. Add in some milk and possibly some more water after that. And then I'm going to put the chops back in and I'm going to smother the whole thing together. Meanwhile, I get my rice working and then my green beans after that. We're going to blanch the green beans for this meal. In meal 2, we roasted them in with the chicken. For meal 4, for this meal, we're going to blanch them And again, they're going to come out of that salted water, beautifully cooked. You can put some butter on them if you want, or just keep them simple blanched green beans. That's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's get these pork chops dredged in the sage flour and then sprinkle them with salt and pepper. We've got our sauce on the simmer here. We're going to put our pork chops back in. Your sauce may look a little thin, but as these bake and all the flour that you've dredged your pork chops comes out, is going to come out into that sauce and actually thicken it up a little bit. I'm going to get that in. I'm just going to leave it right in the same pan and just simmer it right in here. I've got the rice on, and I'm going to start getting my water boiling for my green beans, and I'll get those blanching. So the rice is done and the pork chops are simmering nicely in the oven. They won't take long. They're pretty skinny chops. So, really you're just kind of waiting for that sauce to kind of thicken up. And you're just simmering them just to make them more tender, okay? So you've seen me blanch vegetables so many times. So heavily salted water. I'm going to return this to the boil. Then I'm going to add in the green beans. The water will come back up to that rolling boil. And then that's when I'm going to let them boil for 1 minute, and then I'm going to call them good. After 1 minute, you can give one a taste just to make sure, because these guys are actually a little on the tough side. So I do want to do a tester on this. Sometimes you get them, they're real tender, and sometimes they're a little on the tough side. So I'm going to do, after 1 minute of that rolling boil, I'm going to taste one just to make sure, and then I'll pull them down. As soon as I drop the green beans in, I'm going to pop the bread in, and then we should be ready to plate. So we've got a nice scoop of rice on there. We've got our freshly blanched, nice and crisp green beans. We're going to put a couple of these pork chops on this plate. And then I'm going to get a ladle. I'm going to make sure I spoon on the sauce. Just a little bit of the sauce right over the rice. And remember, we've got the nice bread to go with that meal. Parsley on that. And that's beautiful, just like my mom used to make. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for Ben 16. So we started off with our Italian Deli Hoagie that we served with the Italian pasta salad, the rotini pasta left over from bin 12. The other half of the box we turned into pasta salad today, chilled with black olives, pepperoncinis, cherry tomatoes, salami, and pepperoni. A lot of the same ingredients that are on top of that delicious Deli Hoagie. So after we finished up meal 1, we went on to meal 2. That is our herb roasted chicken. We did the herb roasted chicken with carrots, celery, onion, baby potatoes, roasted garlic in there as well. And then we threw the green beans in about halfway through the cooking time. And we finished that up with some crusty bread. So that was the same bread that we have the hoagie on. We also cut it into some large crostinis. So we had bread for the rest of the meals. A very quick, easy meal right there. A long cooking time, but little preparation. Meal 3, this is going to be your I'm in a bind meal right here. This is the chef salad. Basically, the hardest thing you have to do for this one is hard boil the eggs. Everything else is going to be quick and easy to throw together at the end. Feel free to use whatever meats and cheeses that you want in the chef salad and in the hoagie to your family's likes and dislikes. Then meal 4, baked smothered pork chops. You can't get any more country than that. Dredged in the sage flour and then stewed in the cream of celery soup with rice. I did this one on rice. You can do it with mashed potatoes too, but I did this on rice with blanched green beans. So there's all the wonderful goodness from bin 16. If you're watching my videos, please, if you enjoy them, please subscribe and check out the website, HauteMomsDinnerClub.com. So thank you so much for joining me, bin 16, Haute Moms Dinner Club.